Oh, it is Jesus. Oh, it is Jesus. It's Jesus in my soul. For I have touched the hem of his garment, and his blood has made me whole. Oh, yes, it has. We're going to listen to Talkline, WBAG, Burlington, Alamance County, North Carolina. Carried by Gnostic Five Senses Knowledge, Kings and Queens Network.
Well, good morning and welcome to Talkline. Glad to have you along. Hope you will give us a call. Join in the conversation. 336-222-9224. It's 224. It's a 4-out Friday. Good morning and welcome to Talkline. Glad to have you along. Hope you will give us a call and join in the conversation. Well, boy, I tell you, sports last night was something. My girls won. They weren't on television. They were on that where you don't, you try to figure, old people like me try to figure out where you can go watch the game. I might even pay to watch the game, but they just make it so daggum difficult. First they tell you I go online to look up where the Fever's playing, and it tells you where they're playing. Well, I go and have to go on the internet to ask where that is. Well, you go ask where it is, and it explains it to people who understand the internet. Well, I don't understand. I don't understand streaming or the internet or anything. I'll watch the Braves. Well, that was a mistake. The Braves were losing. When they lose, they've been winning. They got the best record in baseball. The Braves do. But when they lose like they are awful. 11-0 or 7-3 or whatever. Last night they just couldn't get going. They just couldn't get the bats moving in the right direction. So they lost last night. They had won 2 games in the series, so they did win the series. They just didn't win the last game. So I go over and start watching the Hurricanes. Well, they are getting their bohunkus beat. And I'm going, it's 2-0. And I'm going, why are you letting these people run all over you? They're just running all over you. And then it was 3. They got 3 goals. They got, in the first period, the second period, and the third period, Las Vegas got a goal. Well, all of a sudden in the third period, which I wasn't watching because it was too late, I was already gone to bed, they get 3 goals in the night. And then they go into overtime and win. They score a goal, Hurricanes do, on a power play. Boy, that would have been exciting. I could have watched that, but I would not have been able to sleep. So the Braves lose. The Fever wins. They did a great job. They won over Atlanta. The WNBA. That's what I just love the WNBA. I really do. I enjoy watching it. These kids they're playing for nothing really. A lot of them, making just nothing. Now they have some superstars thanks to Caitlin. Caitlin Clark has when before she was there were 5 superstars in the WNBA. And those 5 were making you know, under $1 million with their endorsements. They just weren't any endorsements. Well, Caitlin Clark comes along, one of the most popular women's basketball players of all time, going into the WNBA. People like me got excited about it. So all of a sudden, where they were averaging very few in attendance, they're starting to sell out stadiums. And now, you know, Caitlin Clark, and a lot of people didn't like her because, you know, she came into this thing and she was getting all this publicity, and a lot of people had been there working hard trying to make the WNBA better. They felt like they were getting pushed to the sidelines. But what happened was they get more money now. Everybody, tide raises all ships. So when Caitlin Clark got a big contract, then the other 5 players, their contracts got bigger, and then there were another 15 players that got contracts that, if it hadn't been for Caitlin Clark, wouldn't have gotten contracts at all. So there are a lot of people making a lot more money. You know, almost every single player in the WNBA is making more money because of the popularity of one player, and that's Caitlin Clark. Well, a lot of the people that have been working hard in the WNBA all these years feel like they've been pushed aside. I don't see it. The work that they did to create this league it just shows somebody comes along who has what they needed, and that was a superstar. You know, they had stars. They had 5 stars that were getting good money and good, you know, extra money. They were doing well. But now there's 25. Next year there'll be 50 players that will have other contracts, because why? All of a sudden they're selling out. They had over 100,000 people at some of these games now. You know, an exceptionally good article. It's long. It explains very well what's going on with the Sesquicentennial Park. Now, the Graham City officials have received 3 new estimates of the cost to repair the Sesquicentennial Park in downtown Graham. City officials told the Alamance News on Tuesday afternoon that the council had directed the staff in May to obtain estimates to repair the park from the city engineering firm of Alley, Williams, Carmen, and King. The council majority also directed the staff how to fix the park, also directed the staff to begin disassembling it to make it stable. After returning from Memorial Day holiday, city workers began dismantling the park, putting the pergola, commemorative bricks, the 4-sided clock in storage at the Public Works Department on East Parker Avenue. Graham Public Works Director Burke Robinson told the newspaper that while the disassembly was underway last week, a brick wall attached to the commercial building at 106 North Main Street, used to screen trash and recycling, had some difficulties. So they're working on all that stuff. Let's see. They put down all sorts of things to make it stable. In April of 2025, they had some bids to fix all that. H.F. Mitchell Construction in Graham submitted a bid of $400. This was in April of 2025, $407,000. And then the Penham Construction of Durham submitted a bid of $379,000 to fix and stabilize all that stuff. So they had bids. Now these bids that they're talking about that we just mentioned to you that are coming from Alley, Williams, Carmen, and King are not official bids. They're just saying that this is what. So it's the same company doing 3 different ways to fix this. They're not official bids. You know, if what you would have to do now is they're saying this is what it would cost. They could go. One of the things they could do is they could go back to the people that made the original bids, the 379,000 and the 470,000. They could go back to them and say, would you like to rebid it? Now the bid is going to be different than it was before because that was a year ago. So they could go to them now that they've removed everything, disassembled the park. You know, it's just a different way of saying they tore it down and they disassembled it. Now they could get these two people that were interested in bidding on it before to bid on it again. And anybody else who wanted to bid on it. They could get formal estimates to do it. Now here's what the people at Alley, Williams, Carmen, and King, what do they call themselves? AWCK, AWAC. Anyway, they had the least expensive way to fix the Sesquicentennial Park, $573,000. In the middle, $588,000, and then the big expensive one was $663,000. It stems from the amount of, and this is in quotes, uncompacted debris that would be removed and replaced in stabilizing the ground there. So it depends on how much ground you move, I guess.
Good morning, Harry. Hope your morning's going well.
Doing great.
Well, that's a good thing. It's Friday. You won't have to watch your heat this weekend because you're going to be warm. At least we ain't got to move because, hey, if yours is like mine, the grass turned to straw. Incentive to stay down there downtown because everything's leaving. And the new elected officials we got on city council down there, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in them because, you know, I think they holding the seats all they doing. But we used to have some elected officials that knew the business, but I think it's changed now. But I don't know how you feel about it, but
Well, there are some incentives that have been for a very long time been for people in downtown. Many people have used them and all that kind of stuff. But you're right. I think what has been pointed out to us, and Barry has been one of the ones that within the about the people at Alamance Crossing. Some of the buildings at Alamance Crossing are being taxed at $60 a square foot. That whole area was bankrupt. Somebody bought it for pennies on the dollar almost. They owed a bunch of money and somebody bought it for a whole lot less than what it was worth. But some of the buildings down there, even in bankruptcy, are being taxed at a higher rate than some of the other buildings in Alamance County, which I think is just terrible. They're not the businesses are not paying their fair share, and the burden of that is on the homeowners in Alamance County, and I think that needs to be fixed. And it looks like it really does. It looks like that's what's happening right now. The next year when they do the reval, they're getting ready to do it now. They're going through everything, and I think it'll be fair, more fair than it was before.
well, it's just like Paramount Theater. they have sunk a ton of money into that Paramount Theater back in the 70s and what they're doing now. And that's owned by the city. And, you know, it's taking taxpayers' money to do what they're doing, which making a mall out of it. That didn't work. They tore all that up. And the only thing that's holding Burlington together is LabCorp anyway, in my opinion. But the other thing I wanted to ask you about is how did it get to the point that the county tells the city how much tax revenue they can get off commercial property? I mean, does the county have that much more pull over the city?
Well, the revals are done by one entity, and that's the county. Yeah. Their own property when you could do it with one big revaluation, that like we do.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but I just wonder if Alamance County is going to treat the city, give them their fair share of, what they have to provide services for.
Well, but see, what happens is the city, yeah, they really do, because what happens is the county values the property, and then the city sets their own tax rate. So it's like, one city has a 36 cent tax rate, and we just saw that Haw River has 44 cents. I mean, they set it where they think they need to get the money from. They know what the county has set as the value of the property, and they get the money they need based on that. So they get to set that. They get to decide how much money they take from you.
Well, I think you ought to go back on city council on that extra penny that they raised. That ought not be allowed. That's gouging taxpayers right there. I know it's not but 1 cent on the 100, but that if they wanted 7 cents on the 100, and then they turn around and add an extra 8 cents to it, then that ought to be.
I'm telling you, all the people out there that say that going to the city council or going to the county commissioners or going to wherever you go doesn't make a difference. No, I'm telling you that what you just described is exactly what happens when you. And speak up. That's the thing. So somebody has got to be there to speak up and say, no, we think the 7 cents is too high, if that's what you think. But you got to speak up, and nobody spoke up. So what did you get? Another extra penny on the tab.
Well, you hope you elect people that are trustworthy, and you hope you can trust them. But it's getting to the point that you can't let your guard down, because they'll take advantage of you which way they can. So,
well, in all honesty, and in all fairness, seriously, nobody showed up for the hearing. Nobody showed up and said, we don't want the 7 cents. So they weren't doing anything but listening to what the public said. The public didn't say they couldn't raise taxes another penny because nobody showed up, so they did it anyway. I think they were doing what they think was right. I really do.
I don't think raising it. I mean, if they settled on the 7 cents, they would have been satisfied. I don't think they would have gouged another little bit in there too. But that's anyway. Let somebody else think. You and Suzanne have a good weekend. Y'all be safe.
Appreciate it. Thank you. 222-9224. 222-9224. You know, that, I really believe that. You know, if you don't want them to raise your taxes, you need to go down there when they have a public hearing about taxes and say, stand up. I know you're nervous. You get 2 minutes and all you got to do is look. I think taxes are already high enough. Please don't raise them anymore, and then sit down. That's all you got to do. Now, if you go down there and do that and they hear, 15, 20 people say that, they're going to be a little more reluctant to add that extra penny. But when no one speaks up, no one at that public hearing that was about taxes, they said, we're going to raise your taxes 7 cents. Here's a public hearing. Nobody said anything, so all of a sudden they said, well, let's see, we'll raise it 8 cents then. And there was nobody there to stand up and say, oh, no, I don't think you should do that. So that's why people need to speak up. Let me tell you about Smith Appliance. Smith Appliance. Tommy Smith and his people have been saving you money since 1970. Boy, they'll save you some money. If you're looking for a used appliance, they've got them. Great used appliances. Refrigerators, stoves, washers, and dryers. Suzanne and I went by there, and I called Tommy, and he said, yeah, we got some, come on by. And we got a great appliance from them, a GE 19 cubic foot refrigerator, and it was a little, we had a 21 cubic foot, but this one is great. And he had gotten a good deal, and Tommy got a good deal on it, and it was a new one, not a used one. So every now and then they have things like that. You need to talk to them. That's how you get good deals, and I'm going to give you a hint. You talk about a deal. Gee whiz, it was good. It was great. And it's not just, he didn't give me a special deal. It's the deals he gives everybody. So give them a call. If you're thinking about getting a new used refrigerator, stove, washer, dryer, something like that, or you need some parts, they have new appliance parts there as well, and a selected group of used appliance parts. You can call them for availability at Smith Appliance, 336-227-6001. They're at 607 West Elm Street in Graham. Now, they do some in-home service. They're booked up pretty much all the time, but you can call them for an the next available slot, 336-227-6001. Smith Appliance, tell them you heard us talking about them on Talkline. You're listening to WBAG Burlington Graham. Tired of feeling like morning, you're on Talkline.
Morning, Harry.
Hey there.
How you this morning?
Doing great.
I heard everybody talking about the Memorial Park down there and all. But I'm an old guy, and I guess I'm just going to believe my lying eyes when I seen a bulldozer sitting on the middle of the park. And since there are pictures of, a whole lot of people took pictures of it sitting there. I don't have to think that I was lied to. I know I was lied to. So I do believe what my eyes tell me. What do you think about that?
Well, I've already been criticized for what I think about it. One of the callers criticized me, saying that I don't have any expertise in that, and that's exactly right. And I said, but doesn't it seem strange that, I know absolutely nothing about bulldozers. I know nothing about foundations. Nothing. I really don't know anything. Now, I have talked with several people who do know stuff about foundations, who said that there's some fixes that can be done to that foundation over there that would fix it right up, and they can put the Sesquicentennial Park right back, and I think that's what we foundations and how much bulldozers weigh. But I'm telling you something, if you tell me that this is unsafe because it's gonna crash in, and you see a bulldozer sitting in the middle of it, anybody with any common sense would have the thought, wait a minute, if that bulldozer can sit there, why couldn't a person sit there and eat a picnic lunch at the picnic table? You don't have to be an expert to think that seems a little strange, but I have been absolutely pounded for that, saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. So there you go.
Are any of the people that have pounded on you certified engineers?
Of course.
Are any of those people that have pounded on you, do they have an architect's license?
Of course not.
No, they're just people that hate you and want to tear you down. It's like the people that have Trump derangement syndrome. Anytime that they get an opening, they think they're making you look small and inconsequential. They try to tear you down because you are a great man. You have the public's interest at heart. I've never heard you tell a flat lie, and the very few times that you have ever made a mistake, you're an honest man. You put it back out there, say, well, I made a mistake. But these other people cannot ever admit to making a mistake. Well, we'll move on. No, when they say they'll move on, it means that you have brokered the truth in front of their face. They cannot stand the truth. And you use the two words that are very rare around this little podunk town, and it's called common sense. And when you speak common sense, all of us old guys, we know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I think to use the term "quote unquote" common sense, it seems to me, and look, I'm not a great man. I'm just a regular guy like you are. I'm just like you. I'm just like everybody else. I just happen to have a microphone. I get to talk louder than most people because I have my own microphone. And Joe Gray, who owns the microphone, says that I can talk. But it makes common sense to me, not knowing anything about foundations and anything about bulldozers. It just seems like common sense to me that if that place was so dangerous for people to stand on, that they had to block it off and then disassemble it because it was so dangerous. But yet a bulldozer can sit right in the middle of it and not crash in. I would have thought that it would have crashed in if it was so dangerous. That seems like common sense to me. You don't have to have an engineer's degree to understand that. That's just common sense.
Well, I watched them while they were doing that. They drove that bulldozer over.
They bamboozled us. That's what he would say.
That's just common sense. And if my little old 250-pound weight can't walk across where at least a 4,000-pound bulldozer with them big old track treads and big old chunks of metal on it. Yeah, I worked in a mill for 40 years, and I saw tow motors driving across wood floors and all that sort of stuff. And none of them ever fell through the wood floors. None of them ever fell through the concrete because it was built right. And I think this thing here was built right. But somebody come up with this idea, well, I'll spread the rumor that it's fallen in. It's got a little bit of a low place. I mean, how many times do you drive down the road and you hit a dip in the road, a little low place that has sunk in just a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
You don't tear up the whole highway for one low place.
No, sometimes
Go
they do.
back.
Sometimes they do.
And then they go, well, hey, they go invite people by the hundreds, by the thousands, by whatever they can get to come in there. But I made my point the other day, whatever they put in there, if it it ain't the brick that my mama paid for, if it ain't something that memorializes something that's worth remembering, four beautiful youngins, and last count, I think it was 11 grand youngins. So, but see, they didn't want the young people up there in Burlington. Well, Burlington is a ghost town now. You ride up and down the streets, and it's empty shops and empty shops and empty shops. Ain't no hot steak sandwiches. There ain't no weenie shops all up and down Main Street. There's not a flow of traffic. There's not hardware stores. There's not a Sears. There's nothing. Mm-hmm. But all them people back in, all them head dogs didn't like the kids and the older people and the ones that became the mothers and fathers of most of the people here in Alamance County. They run them off. Thing they can just to get even with the fathers of Graham, which I don't think they're fathers. I don't think they're stewards. I think there's something dirty. You ever heard the old saying, there's something rotten in Denmark? Well, there's something rotten in the little town of Graham.
We'll see. All right, appreciate it. You have
Thank
a good
you for
day.
the time.
Yes, sir. 222-9224. Yeah, I think they have set themselves up now. They've disassembled the park. They've set themselves up. All they have to do is advertise for bids again, see what it would cost to make sure that it's shored up like it's supposed to be, and bring in put the park back together, and then let's move on. That would be the way to do it. Now the organization that did the bids, they are not official bids. They're just telling you what they think the expenses could be. Somebody who wants to bid it competitively might spend less, might be able to do it for less. So you just have to open it up to competitive bids, and that's how you'll find out. Right now we've got 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let me tell you about the Original Mattress Factory. The folks over at the Original Mattress Factory in Raleigh, that's where they have their factory, have a store here in... It's located at 2477 South Church Street. Good morning, you're on Talk Line.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Harry.
Hey there.
Yes, sir. I've been recently listening very carefully to the many conversations on Talk Line concerning the subject. Is that those city leaders did not have to have a crystal ball to know that this was going to be a total failure. They had already seen the same lousy results when there was a bus system that was being operated a number of years ago, and it was a failure. Why would they not understand that based on the size of Burlington, putting in another bus system was going to still be a failure? You see, why can't they learn from past failures? I'll never forget the time when the former liberal mayor, this Baltudas, was on WBAG. And while addressing this subject, I'm going to quote him this morning. This is what he said. Well, we really never envisioned making a profit or breaking even. That was not on our agenda. Give me a break. And these people call themselves progressives. I'll tell you one thing. Thank God that he's not in charge of managing Walker Ministries' finances, or we'd be broke in about 30 days. And when discussing this subject, I come back to my comparing Burlington to Memphis. And I see not one, two large buses, probably about double the size of the buses in Burlington. And a crowd has already gathered at the stop. These are passengers who will soon board these buses. And I can tell you right now, I've seen these buses completely filled to capacity. Now, it's only fair to ask, how is this possible? I'll tell you exactly how it's possible. Many of the passengers are coming out of a high-rise apartment building, 10, 12 stories high, close to the stop. Others are coming from nearby shopping center. I'm talking about a large shopping center. And on we go. And I must say to our local government officials, what I've described should tell you that Burlington is not Memphis. Burlington is not New York City, where I also work. Burlington is not Washington, where I conduct our ministry. So I'm a first-hand witness to all of this. And when I'm talking about this situation exists, and you continue to take our taxpayers' money and throw it away in this manner, I got a message this morning. That's nothing but legalized stealing. And I want to tell you another secret about that. God himself will hold you responsible for this kind of unethical conduct. He expects government leaders to take our taxpayers' money and use it in a godly manner. And when local governments continue to pull money away from hard-working citizens, it has a negative effect on prosperity. It does nothing to add to prosperity. And yet these liberals, well, they don't see any problem with the bus system. They don't see any problem with this kind of thing. And then we talk about lack of prosperity. Yes, speaking of that, next October, just prior to the election, I will drive through some of the poorest hoods. Done anything for anybody. Not 1 ounce of credit to the president, who has cut the income tax rate, eliminated the income tax on tips, eliminated the income tax on the first $6,000 of Social Security income that can make quite a difference to that individual who needs to buy medicine. Now, let me extend the tax topic this morning, if I might, to the schools. I'm getting stinking tired, and I mean stinking tired, of hearing the liberals complain about the school vouchers, money which the state legislature has allocated to private schools. Oh, they will tell you that because of this will take away from providing a quality education to public school students. And I say to you, baloney. Long before the vouchers, that's because we were being given a quality education through instruction by teachers that were dedicated to achieving this. Furthermore, there was a daily devotion before the classes started, and every Wednesday a local pastor would come in and address the student body during an assembly period.
To tell them some damn white lies, y'all institutional white lies, and you think we're going to stand here and take it. Hell no, we're going to fight y'all goddamn ass to the grave.
My child exposed to this. I recently heard a liberal who was throwing her venom toward the private schools. This is what this lady says. The public schools have to adhere to a specific curriculum, but the rate for the private schools verify they got the right curriculum and they adhere to what is right. And by the way, that includes threading the gospel through the content of all of the courses. I close this morning by going one step further about this business of vouchers. In my opinion, I believe that when a parent finds it necessary to remove their child from the public schools, in addition to receiving money through the vouchers, the local governments should not be allowed to levy a school tax on these individuals. And with that, Mr. Harry, I say to you and Miss Suzanne, I hope you have a wonderful, safe, and pleasant weekend. God bless you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. 2229224.
Dr. Jim Ferguson at Chapel Hill Family and Cosmetic Dentistry.
It is the idiot that thinks the dummy is a genius. So somebody calling me a genius that has an IQ of 2 doesn't make me sleep good at night. Just make me think, why does he think I'm so smart? That's what I would say if somebody called me a genius, that's an idiot. First of all, there is no, I heard one call yesterday, and I'm going to say something about it, and I'm going to invoke Dr. King. But there's no bus system in the United States that makes money. Bus system is put in place not for profit. It is an economic vehicle for the city. Now, for the city of Burlington, it's not so much as New York or Washington or San Francisco. But it's still a financial system because, again, for the people who have never sat at tables where there's planning that, with the city and with economic factors that want to come into the city, then you won't know. So, again, talking to an idiot about subject matters that they know nothing about, they won't understand it. And speaking of at the table, I was at the table yesterday. Just found out that there's 546 home students in Alamance County, Jim. And when we were at the table with people trying to do something about it, formulating a plan to do something about it, actually doing something about it, except getting on the radio show and just talking, I just being the little devil that I am, I mentioned your name. And I said, let's call this person. He has a work of ministry. And everybody said, who? Who? They don't know you. And you talk about Washington and Memphis and all these other places. But in Alamance County, where they got the same thing that you say you fighting, nobody knows your name. Nobody. You're a fraudster. Because nobody knows. If you were really doing something about homelessness, you would do something about it here. But only thing you do is get up here and you talk about what you do where nobody else can see these great things. And you say you have a national ministry, which anybody that have a national ministry, if you get a EIN number, and you may want to tell people what that is, if you know, and then send a check to somebody international, you have an international ministry. Everybody, see, this is why people don't like to talk to people who try to pull the wool over people's eyes, like Trump. This is why Trump said smart people don't like him, and only idiots like him. Because just like Trump, people that talk on this station are idiots, but when they're talking to idiots, they can pull the wool over other idiots' eyes. But when somebody like me say, call your bluff on it, then you have a problem with me. You talk about tax dollars. Where is anybody complaining about the $400,000 that it costs to send 2 helicopters to Kid Rock's house to take a selfie? Where is it that anybody is hollering about $1.8 billion slush fund for people who beat up cops, for people who say love cops? They're not talking about that. What about the ballroom that was supposed to be paid with private funds, now it's costing American taxpayers $1 billion with no big contracts? What about the $1.2 billion for the man that got 20 years in prison for stealing Medicaid, for stealing Medicaid and Medicare money, got 20 years, he only did like 20 months, well, did less than that. Trump gave him a pardon, that all of a sudden he went into business in the tune of multi-millions of dollars with Trump's sons. Where is the outrage about that? There is no outrage. And then you talk about what America cannot afford. America really can't afford to pay all these old people that call this station their Social Security check every month. That you really get your money back in the first 5 years. And for people who fall off lawnmowers and get their toes cut off because they don't know what they're doing, and America pays their hospital bill, America can't afford that. You should pay your own hospital bill. America can't afford that. America can't afford the Medicare and the Social Security huge outlay that they pay out each and every year. America can't afford $100 billion so far bill for a war that didn't have to start. But I don't hear any concern about that. I don't even hear any concern about when is your ox to go. When it's your ox to go, it's okay. The United States can spend all that money. We always got an excuse when it comes to us. We always got an excuse when it comes to our party, the Republican Party, or when it comes to Donald Trump. We always got an excuse.
Or the Democrat Party, and you've said that over and over again, Michael. It's when it's your ox to gore. If you're a Democrat, you're not going to gore your ox, or if you're a Republican, you're not going to gore your ox. That's what's wrong with politics. You've mentioned that many times.
Well, you're part of the problem.
Everybody's part of the problem. Republicans and Democrats.
No, I'm not, because I call it spade a spade.
No, you don't.
Every day.
No, you don't.
Spade a spade.
You really don't,
okay.
Michael.
Well, okay. Well, let me move on.
No, okay. You're kind of okay. You're already at 7 minutes. So wrap it up.
Okay. Well, let me just say this. I'm gonna wrap it up. But I'm gonna wrap it up pretty good. Yesterday, I heard Charlie call and say that Trump he made an eloquent statement about race. If you don't want people to do stupid stuff about race, don't be racist. Absolutely. And you made the statement. Well, Trump didn't do that, and Trump was horrid about what happened. How do you know that? How do you know that? Were you there? See, that's the problem with racism.
No, it isn't, Michael. That has been said over and over and over again. If you don't believe it, no. The people in the office have said it over and over again. He said it as well. He didn't do that. You know, the President of the United States doesn't run his own, email account. Come on, Michael. But as I said, he is responsible. He is responsible. I'm not talking over you. Not at all.
My statement. Okay, well, let me finish my statement. Trump has been known to make his own true social accounts. And, of course, he has also said that COVID was a hoax. He lied about that, too. Also, didn't they say in Biden's White House that he wasn't senile? Y'all say he was senile. So isn't the White House going to lie for the President of the United States? It did also his actions. His actions about taking black people's names off of statues, off of battleships and putting up white racist Confederate names up there. All I'm going to say is this. I'm going to end it like this. Dr. King said, at the end of the day, it is not the yells and the hollers and the screams of the racists. It's the so-called silence of the ones that call you themselves their friends. You are the one that calls people friends, but you just like the racists.
No, I'm not, Michael. You are so rude and so pathetic. It just beats anything I've ever seen. The things you just said are so foolish and so stupid. They're just foolish. You on this program, day after day after day, have done exactly the same thing that you accuse other people of doing. You say things that are true that you don't know that they're true. You just accused me of saying, you didn't know that Trump didn't do that. Well, of course I wasn't there. But we can listen and make decisions about what we think. And I know the President of the United States doesn't do his own emails. Come on, gee whiz. And the thing is that there were people in the White House who said that he didn't have anything to do with that. Well, you don't believe that. That's fine. That is absolutely fine for you not to believe that. But then you are doing exactly what you just accused everybody else of doing. That's what you do. You come on this program and you say things that you've heard. And I say to you, well, there's no proof of that. Well, that's and that's the problem. There is no proof of things. And if you can't prove it, what we do in politics, the Democrats do it and the Republicans do it, is they say things that they heard somebody say. Somebody said that. Well, you can't prove it. You weren't there. And Michael just accused me.
If y'all stop hiding the information, you can prove it. Y'all hide it, you dumbass fool. You think we stupid?
Lies. Well, he said that you said that the Biden White House lied. Well, yeah. And people say everybody lied. You say that the Biden White House doesn't lie, but that the Trump White House does. That's politics, and that's what you're doing. You do that every day, and you talk about things that you know absolutely nothing about. And you say, "Well, I read." Well, what about me? I read too. What about those people over there? They read. You're constantly attacking people that call this program.
Because they are some goddamn sorry-ass people. I will tell you the truth. Y'all are some sorry-ass people. You can't tell the truth because you are demons.
Every day on this program, you accuse people.
We sure do, because we see exactly what y'all sorry-ass people do.
And here's what's the problem with all this.
Y'all are the damn problem.
What we've got, the difference between news and narrative. Somebody says something. They don't have any proof. They don't give any proof.
Because y'all hide the proof, you goddamn motherfucker.
This particular, don't call them whistleblowers. I worked in the White House and I saw this happen. And because it's negative to the person you want it to be negative to, whether it's a Democrat or Republican.
Why do y'all call it the damn White House when black people built this goddamn country? We're going to tear this goddamn country down because y'all some sorry-ass motherfuckers.
That there's no proof of. Now, I don't mind.
I got the goddamn proof. You hid it.
In anything to express an opinion. And if I'm proven to be wrong, I will admit it. Absolutely.
No, you won't, you goddamn sorry-ass cracker. You will not admit it. All you do is take up for these goddamn sorry-ass white folks that ain't worth a damn.
I read articles that are opinion articles. Now, I might think that what this opinion is true, but that's just my opinion. I just think that what they said was true, or what they said was not true. But it's amazing to get attacked day in and day out by someone who is so rude about it. He's rude about other people. If you don't like or agree with Jim Hodgson, then just dismiss him and move on. Why don't you tell us something? You're constantly saying the same things over and over and over again about Jim Hodgson.
And y'all say the same damn thing. Jim Hodgson ain't shit. I don't give a damn what he come on here and say. He ain't shit. And you, Harry, sit there and agree with everything the goddamn motherfucker say when you know it's a goddamn lie.
That's your business. But you've said it so many times.
And y'all come on here and say the same damn things over and over and over too.
The same person over and over and over again, who is it beats anything I've ever seen. Why
and y'all beating the damn thing I ever seen.
Start attacking somebody else. I hate to say that because it'll be me that he attacked. He'd love to attack me, and I've never done it. I'm nice to people. I don't attack folks. I express my opinions, and sometimes people don't like them. They think that I'm attacking them. I'm not. I'm just expressing an opinion. This program is about opinions. This is not a news show. This is opinions. Now, if I read an article that is a news article, The reason I'm reading is because I have an opinion about it. That's what I'm doing. Now, when you do the news, when we do I do 2 newscasts a day on this local newscast 2 times a day, 5 days a week. And that's news. That's not commentary. That's news. That's a difference. You know, this narrative stuff, you hear what somebody said and you repeat it on this program. What proof do you have? Were you there? Mike is always talking about, you weren't there. How do you know that? Well, of course I wasn't there. I'm expressing my opinion. That's what I think. Just like you express your opinion about what you think. That is so sad. It's so pathetic and so sad. And I truly believe, with all my heart, that your grandmother taught you better than that. And I don't know what's happened. I really don't.
You go change the color of your skin, Harry, and become black and see. Then you'll understand, you stupid ass 3/5 of a brain motherfucker.
Time and because we don't like to cut you off. I don't like to do that. That's not what I want to do. I don't mind mentioning to you that you're at 6 minutes or 7 minutes, and then you say, well, I'm going to finish up, and what do? You attack me.
Because you talk over him. You talk over him so he won't get his point out.
Attacking me. And there is absolute, you have every absolute right to do that. But then what is the reason behind that? Why do you do that?
Y'all can't see yourselves, can you?
I did so.
Y'all need to go look in a big-ass mirror. Y'all cannot see yourselves. You are not in proper alignment with the Most High God. You are in alignment with the goddamn devil, you sorry-ass pieces of shit.
Breath of fresh air. I was so excited. I went home and told Suzanne how.
Well, why you keep telling us that story? You ready to repeat that story over and over and over again? We sick of that damn story.
You know, and I know I've gotten more angry in my old age. I know you've gotten older. You know, we're both older now. But I am just absolutely.
Lord, if you had been what I've been through, you would be angry. If you had been through what this damn country has put me through, you'd kill everybody in the damn whole world. You don't know you ain't been through shit. Some of us have. And it's because of y'all goddamn sorry ass people.
Awareness. You are unaware of how people think, how horrible you are. People talk to me all the time. Yeah, nobody talks to me more about anybody but you. Michael, you're the most talked about person off the air at this radio. Somebody's always saying something to me about you.
Because he tells the truth, like I did, and y'all had a goddamn fit. You wanted me dead, so you hired people to kill me, you goddamn sorry-ass motherfuckers. But you gonna die and go straight to where you don't want to go, because y'all are some sick motherfuckers. You're sick as hell.
I'm talking. You know, I get to do that. I'm in charge. So I am not talking over top of you.
Oh, hell yes, you are.
And you don't think that you think people.
Oh, shut up and let somebody else call you, goddamn fucker.
I've got the microphone turned down. I'm not talking over top of you. You're not talking. It is absolutely amazing. The main thing about all this is you, Michael, accuse everybody of doing these horrible things that you say are so horrible that you do. You do Duke and Carolina in politics, and which is exactly right. That was your statement, and I think it's absolutely true. And you say it is like that, and it shouldn't be, and all that kind of stuff. But you do it every day. You know, you will not admit. You know, you attack. One of the things I think this is just so critical and so interesting. You attacked anybody that said, anybody. You would call up here daily and attack people during the Biden administration that said the Biden administration had anything to do with the price of gasoline. They don't. It's set on the world market. Presidents don't have anything to do with that. But yet, this president, the one we got now, who happens to be somebody you don't like, and is not a member of your party, he has everything to do with it.
That's a problem right there. Y'all praise the devil. You praise darkness. That's what your problem is.
At Super Safe Pond, because they're so nice, you know, I go by there when I'm feeling really bad. I'm just in a good mood. You know, it's going to be hard to knock me down today. Good luck with that. If that was your intention, it didn't work.
Let me tell you something, Harry Myers. Everybody ain't afraid of y'all goddamn ass. We got a whole bunch of white folks niggas here. They're scared of y'all goddamn ass, but everybody ain't scared of y'all goddamn sorry asses.
Burlington Graham.
A friend to law enforcement, an advocate for victims. For 25 years now, Sean Boone has been a reliable, respected figure in Alamance County's criminal justice system. Experience is vital to public safety, and Sean Boone is a tested, veteran prosecutor who will continue to fight to keep Alamance County safe. On November 3rd, vote to re-elect Sean Boone, District Attorney. Paid for by Sean Boone for District Attorney.
Tired of showing up with the same boring gift? Yeah, socks aren't cutting it.
Monkey see, monkey do.
I guess love is always just. Love is monkey see and monkey do. That's all it is, peaches. Love is monkey see and monkey do. Would I lie to you? Love is monkey see and monkey do. That's all it is, peaches. Love is monkey see and monkey do. Do you want my love, peaches? Do you want my rage? Or do you merely like to see me shake my cage? Your papayas get thrown at me and mine get thrown at you. I guess love is always just. Love is monkey see and monkey do. That's all it is, peaches. Love is monkey see and monkey do. Would I lie to you? Love is monkey see and monkey do. That's all it is, peaches. Love is monkey see and monkey do. Jump and stumble and eat the jungle until I've had my fill. Then you'll learn the truth, peaches. 1 and 1 ain't 2. 1 and 1 is 1, and love is monkey see and monkey do. That's all it is, peaches. Love is monkey see and monkey do. Would I lie to you? Love is monkey see and monkey do. That's all it is, peaches. Love is monkey see and monkey do.
Then I'm gonna cheat on you. You got everybody thinking that life is good everything looking real good. But if only they could see what goes on behind closed doors. What goes on behind? So you just keep doing what you're doing in these streets. Don't let me stop you. I'm gonna do to you everything you're doing to me. What you see, what you do. If you lie to me, if you lie, I'm sure gonna lie to you. What you see, what you do, what you do. If you cheat on me, then I'm gonna cheat on you. Now I'm packing my bags and I'm getting ready to go. Ready to go. One thing for sure, you don't have to hide no more. Don't you if you lie to me, I'm sure gonna lie to you. What you see, what you do, I'm real tired. If you cheat on me, then I'm gonna cheat on you. What you see, what you do. If you lie to me, I'm sure gonna lie to you. What you see, what you do, I can't take your lies no more. If you cheat on me, then I'm gonna cheat on you. And I'm gonna cheat on you. On time.
Collective. The type of karma that somebody in your life has walked into is leaving them with an altered state of mind. Okay. Somebody lied and manipulated so much that they have a karma that I haven't really seen a lot. They're losing their spiritual abilities. They're losing their discernment power. Now, for a long time, they may have had gifts and they have been exercising them. But when you couple in these wonderful gifts with corruption and lies and manipulation, then you dilute the gift. They have been diluting their spiritual gifts so long that they're losing spiritual abilities. Now, the thing that I was getting is, okay, you making rumors up, you making up stories. This is putting somebody in an alternate reality, right? But it's based on illusions. So some people may actually go crazy, or they may get stuck in a loop and in a cycle because they refuse to face the truth, which means they can't break free from the illusion. Imagine somebody get on a roller coaster and it's just up and down and around and spinning and they can't get off. This is because of where they stuck themselves mentally. Now, this is what I was getting to. The older they get, the more they keep lying, the more they keep living in false realities, the more they keep making these characters so they can manipulate and lie to people, the more they go from person to person with a different story about you. They're creating a reprobate mind. That's the word I kept getting, reprobate mind. Now listen to what it is though. It's a state of moral or spiritual corruption where a person loses the ability to discern. They're going to be having ops sitting at their table. Ops going to be eating their fruit. Sociopaths and psychopaths are going to be taking full advantage, doing everything but putting them 6 feet in the dirt, getting done all kind of ways. They can't discern who real and who fake, what's right and what's wrong. It also says you can't discern right from wrong and no longer feel guilt or remorse for their actions, which means when they've been sitting there talking about you, spreading lies, spreading rumors, they thought it was okay. It's fine. They weren't even able to discern, I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I shouldn't be lying because I might reap what I sow. You see what I'm saying? They can't even discern their own thoughts. They can't even discern what they should do and what they shouldn't do, who they should entertain, who they should not entertain. I was also getting their mind will not have the ability to expand. If there is no expansion of the mind, there will be no expansion of their life or their reality. They will stay stuck on that loop or stay on that roller coaster. Also, I was getting, it's only so much a heart can take. I don't know who this is for, but this is very specific. It's only so much a heart could take, right? And you should have left sooner. What I'm getting for somebody, okay? You can't keep sitting there taking a beating or a whooping or a spiritual, beat down from people who want to make stuff up about you, and you just sitting there keep taking it. If only you could see beyond the veil, beyond the curtain, what these people have been saying about you behind your back, you would have left sooner. And it wouldn't have been not a guilty bone in your body. Okay, now let's go ahead. Let's jump to the roses and romance. We're going to get a card to get the overall sense. Somebody is getting a reprobate mind. That's what they deserve. You deserve that, for your mind to be all twisted up in loops and circles because that's what you tried to do to everybody else. All right. Now, this can also be about you. Maybe it's something else that's important that you need to know about yourself, something that's coming up. So we're going to see very first card. What do we have? Deep regret. Oh, surprise, surprise. But for me, this is the thing. If somebody's in deep regret, that means they really had to think about it. Somebody may be sitting there probably thinking, okay, well, you know, they're losing their magic. Alakazam, Alakazabra, and they're supposed to shoot out sparks from their hand and they can't do it anymore. And they're trying to figure out why. Well, part of it is because you were doing so much. It's like they were harping on other people's discernment. Right? When somebody come to you and they present a face and they present a front and they telling you all these lies and they mixing things in, they want you to lose your mind. They want you to be lost, right? So for them to be lost, that's like equal. That's balance. That's karma. That's fair. You reap what you sow. And so somebody might be in that state of just reaping what they sow. Somebody may be actually sitting there saying, how come I felt that was okay? All right. Maybe there are other things going on. Also, I'm getting something about, listen, for some of y'all, I'm getting this is you. Not deep regret because you did nothing wrong, but because you stayed and you dealt with it and you kept dealing with it and you kept dealing with it. Maybe some of y'all have been getting nudges and dreams and all kind of stuff for you to distance yourself, move away, get out of that relationship, get out of that job, get out of that neighborhood, get out of there. And some of y'all stayed too long. And people was able to pick and grab and get just a little bit more off you. You know what I'm saying? If you had known, you would have left sooner. And if somebody else had known, you know, they would have made different choices. But one thing about it, two things for sure, that discernment is a straight up gift from God. And how do you continue to strengthen that gift? You remain authentic. Have some good stuff going on behind the scenes when ain't nobody looking, right? Not, oh, I got behind your back, this my chance to tell all your dirt. You know what I'm saying? And I kept getting, somebody was so comfortable. It was just so comfortable telling your business, twisting up your pain. I was like, okay, now when it get done, and you don't be sitting there worried about how do they know? Oh, hold on. This jumps up and jumps over the Two of Coins. So somebody either trying to figure it out, or they taking out pen and paper, they writing pros and cons, or this has something to do with how you're moving forward. Okay, a lot of you guys, you got money coming in. A lot of you guys I was getting this too, in the next 45 days, some of y'all like expansion. Remember I was getting expansion. Okay, they didn't expand their mind, so they're not going to expand their reality. You've been expanding, and in the next 45 days, there's something financially coming that's going to set you up for a very long time. Okay, you're going to be standing on a very strong, solid foundation. In fact, that's what I need for you to do right now. Don't worry about who in deep regret because they missed the boat with you. Worry about how you're going to navigate this next check. Okay, some of y'all got something coming in so big that you need to take these next 45 days to sit down, pen to paper, pros to cons, plan something out. And I'm not talking about, just plan out, something around the house. Like I'm talking about like really make some moves. Like, ooh, I could do this. I could do, like, you know what I'm saying? This and that, whatever this and that is, not a little bit of this and a little, no, this and that, whatever that is for you, you need to start planning to do that. Okay. Budgeting, finances, and planning. Also, the planning, like somebody's reprobate mind. They don't know how to look forward anymore. Being stuck in some type of deep regret, they don't know how to move to the next level. So sitting down, planning, that's all a part of spiritual gifts. I hope you understand this. I hope you understand that your power to discern, it doesn't just show up in what people to deal with, who to stay away from, go there, don't go there, being able to pick up the signs and the clues. Nah, it goes deeper than that. Like some of you guys, the way you are able to plan, that's a supernatural ability. Because in order for you to plan, you got to be able to think of the future. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to like set in long-term goals and then be patient enough to do the work to get to the ultimate prize at the end. That's supernatural gifts. That's spiritual gifts. I'm sorry. But that's some things that, have to be put in you, and to have a reprobate mind mean, you need the plan. You need the blueprint creator. That's you. So a lot of you guys are the blueprint, or you're about to do something and it will be the blueprint, the plan moving forward for a lot of different people.
2 years ago, promises is all I heard. Wait a minute, let me finish. 2 years ago, promises is all I heard. Out of your mind. Now you wanna walk away, boy, and tear down the walls in this house. You used to tell me sweet things in the morning time. And all you do is hurt me and think that everything is fine. You better be careful what you say to me, 'cause it might turn around on you. You better be careful what you do to me, 'cause somebody might do it to you. Now who was there for you when your was out of work? All by myself, taking little man to church. So quick to hang up the phone when I step in the room. Then you wanna turn it all around. I'm getting tired of playing fool. You better be careful what you say to me, 'cause it might turn around on you. You better be careful what you do to me, 'cause somebody might do it to you. If the shoe fits, wear it, boy. If the shoe fits, wear it, boy. 2 years ago, didn't know you had male friends. Wait a minute, let me finish. 2 years ago, didn't know you had male friends. Off up in college, I found out you're still reaching out to some of them. Mrs. Busybody, you used to listen to me when you were down and lost. But now you don't even respect me. Ever since I got laid off, you better be careful what you say to me, 'cause it might turn around on you. You better be careful what you do to me, 'cause somebody might do it to you. Now who gave you money when yours was broke without a dime? And even though the man is not my child, I made him mine. So quick to run to your friends and talk about what we do in this house, and then you wanna party all night long. What the hell you talking about? You better be careful what you say to me, 'cause it might turn around on you. You better be careful what you do to me, 'cause somebody might do it to you. If the shoe fits, wear it, girl. If the shoe fits, wear it, girl.
Be careful what you say to me. Well, it just might come on to you. Yeah. Be careful how you treat people.
You watch this white America is watching their own prophecy unfold, and they cannot deny it anymore. Even white pastors, white prophets, white theologians are breaking rank and saying out loud what they were terrified to admit. America is under judgment. White America's time is up. And the evidence is so overwhelming that disbelief is turning into desperate acknowledgement. I'm going to show you something that will change everything you thought you knew. The Bible predicted exactly when this would happen, exactly how it would happen, and exactly who it would happen to. Pattern so undeniable that even those who built this system cannot explain it away anymore. You see, there's a prophecy that started in 1619, a 400-year clock, and that clock just ran out. And what the Bible says happens after 400 years is happening right now in real time. Floods, earthquakes, economic collapse, political chaos, prophets seeing visions of the Capitol building split in half, the Washington Monument crumbling to pieces. This is not coincidence. This is not random disaster. This is pattern. This is judgment. And even white evangelical leaders who spent their entire careers defending America are now standing up and saying, God has lifted his hand off this nation. It feels like it's falling apart right now. You're not crazy, you're not paranoid, you're watching biblical prophecy fulfilled in front of your eyes. This is not conspiracy theory. This is not hate speech. This is documented scripture, verified historical timelines, and prophecies being fulfilled that scholars cannot explain away. I'm going to walk you through 4 major revelations that will connect every dot you've been trying to connect your whole life. First, the 400-year prophecy. Genesis chapter 15 verses 13 and 14 tell us that God's people would be strangers in a land not theirs, enslaved and oppressed for exactly 400 years. And then God would judge that nation, 1,619 to 2019. Not 399 years, not 401 years. Exactly 400. And everything that has happened since 2019, the global pandemic, the economic crisis, the political division, the racial reckoning, the natural disasters, it all started the moment that 400-year timer expired. I'll show you the mathematics of this prophecy and why even secular historians are stunned by the precision. Second, Mystery Babylon's identity. Revelation chapter 18 describes a nation that will fall suddenly. A nation so wealthy that merchants of the earth grew rich from her. A nation that sits as queen and says she will never see morning. A nation whose merchants were the great ones of the earth. And a nation that traded in the bodies and souls of men. Every single characteristic, and I mean every single one, matches America so perfectly that white theologians are now publishing papers admitting it. I'll walk you through each description and show you why there is no other nation in human history that fits like America fits. Third, the pattern of judgment. Throughout Scripture, when God judges a nation, he follows a specific pattern. Natural disasters escalate, economic structures collapse, political chaos intensifies. The oppressors turn on each other. And right now, America is checking every single box. I'll show you how current events match exactly, and I mean exactly, how God judged Egypt, Babylon, Sodom, and Israel itself. This is not random. This is the documented pattern of divine judgment. Fourth, the truth they will not name. The Bible tells us who the Israelites are by describing what would happen to them. Deuteronomy chapter 28 lists specific curses. Slavery, ships, scattered among nations, oppressed for generations, head becoming tail. Only one people group in modern history matches every single curse. And if you acknowledge who they are, then you have to acknowledge that America equals Egypt, and you have to acknowledge what God promised to do to Egypt. This is why the establishment stays silent. Because once this truth breaks open, the entire power structure crumbles. By the end of this video, you will see the pattern so clearly you'll wonder how you ever missed it.
Don't let the Lord catch you with your work undone. You have been warned several times. Okay? You have been warned several times. I've been mocked. I've been trying Y'all tried to kill me. Y'all tried to kill me for warning you. But God is going to heal my body. I know he will, because he's God Almighty, and I am his son. You mocked me. You cursed me. Now you will pay.
God judged Egypt, Babylon, Sodom, and Israel itself. This is the documented pattern of divine judgment. This is not random. This is the documented pattern of divine judgment. Fourth, this is the documented pattern of divine judgment. The Bible tells us who the Israelites are by describing what would happen to them. Specific curses, slavery, ships, scattered among nations, oppressed for generations. And if you acknowledge who they are, then you have to acknowledge that America equals Egypt, and you have to acknowledge what God promised to do to Egypt. This is why the establishment stays silent. Because once this truth breaks open, the entire power structure crumbles, from fear to faith. By the end of this video, you will understand why everything happening right now is not chaos but prophecy. From feeling powerless to understanding your purpose. This knowledge will transform how you see the news, how you read your Bible, how you understand your identity, and how you prepare for what's coming next. Let me show you something that made even skeptical historians pause and take a second look. Open your Bible to Genesis chapter 15. This is where God makes a covenant with Abraham. And in verses 13 and 14, God tells Abraham something specific about the future. He says, "Know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and they will be enslaved and mistreated for 400 years. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will come out with great possessions." Now here is where it gets undeniable. In the year 1619, the first enslaved Africans arrived in Jamestown, Virginia. August 1619. About 20 people from Angola, captured, chained, transported across the Atlantic Ocean in the hull of a ship, and sold into slavery in a land that was not theirs.
That ship was named Jesus.
In the year 1619, the first enslaved Africans arrived in Jamestown, Virginia. August 1619. About 20 people from Angola, captured, chained, transported across the Atlantic Ocean in the hull of a ship, and sold into slavery in a land that was not theirs. This was year one of a 400-year clock that most people did not know was ticking. From 1619 to 1865, that is 246 years of legal chattel slavery. Families ripped apart. Names stripped away. Identity erased. Beaten, tortured, bred like animals, worked to death in fields they did not own. But the oppression did not stop in 1865. After the Civil War came 100 years of Jim Crow, lynchings, segregation, sharecropping, which was just slavery with a different name. The Ku Klux Klan terrorizing communities. Thousands of black people murdered and no justice ever served. And even after the Civil Rights Act in 1965, the oppression continued through systemic racism, mass incarceration, economic inequality, educational gaps, health disparities. The curses that the Bible described in Deuteronomy 28, the yoke of iron on your neck, being oppressed day after day with no one to rescue you, your sons and daughters given to another people while you look on helplessly. All of that continued for 400 years straight. Not approximately 400 years, exactly 400 years, from 1619 to 2019. Now let that sink in for a moment. The same God who told Abraham 400 years kept his word to the exact year. In 2019, there were some commemorative events acknowledging 400 years since 1619, but most people, including most preachers, did not recognize the prophetic significance. They did not understand that a biblical timer had just expired. They did not realize that Genesis 15 verse 14 says, "After those 400 years, I will judge the nation they served as slaves."
You have been warned. several times, but you never pay attention. There is a wide gate and there is a narrow one. Which gate are you on? Which gate are you going through?
Most people, including most preachers, did not recognize the prophetic significance. They did not realize that Genesis 15 verse 14 says, after those 400 years, I will judge the nation they served as slaves. And then look what happened.
Then he came and you tried to murder him again. You tried to kill him again.
Including most preachers, did not recognize the prophetic significance. They did not realize that Genesis 15 verse 14 says, after those 400 years, I will judge the nation they served as slaves. COVID-19, a plague that swept the entire nation, shutting down the economy, killing hundreds of thousands, creating chaos and fear. It was like the plagues of Egypt all over again. Then George Floyd. The entire world watched a black man murdered on camera by someone sworn to protect and serve, and it sparked protests in every state, protests around the globe, a racial reckoning that forced uncomfortable conversations that white America tried to avoid for centuries. Then 2021. The United States Capitol breached, rioters storming the building, chaos, violence, the symbol of American democracy under attack from the inside. Political divisions so severe that families stopped speaking to each other. And from 2021 to now, economic instability, inflation, supply chain collapse, the stock market swinging wildly, natural disasters intensifying, floods in Texas, floods in North Carolina, wildfires in California, heat waves, hurricanes, earthquakes, prophets having visions of the Capitol building splitting in two, the Washington Monument collapsing into pieces, the White House shaken with water breaking from underneath. Is this coincidence? Is America just experiencing a string of bad luck?
Is America just experiencing a string of bad luck?
Is America just experiencing a string of bad luck? Or is this exactly what the Bible said would happen after 400 years? The same God who judged Egypt after 400 years of enslaving Israel is judging America after 400 years of enslaving his people. The pattern is identical. The timeline is exact. And even white scholars who spent their whole careers defending American exceptionalism are now quietly admitting something prophetic is happening here. You see, this is not about a date on a calendar. This is about God keeping his word. When God says 400 years, he means 400 years, not 350, not 450. Exactly 400. And when God says, I will judge that nation, he does not forget. He does not change his mind. Romans chapter 11 verse 29 tells us the gifts and calling of God are irrevocable. What he promises, he delivers. What he declares, he fulfills. So when you see floods washing away entire cities, when you see the economy teetering on collapse, when you see political chaos that makes no logical sense, when you see prophecies from multiple people describing the same visions of America's structures crumbling, you are not watching random events. You are watching the 400-year judgment unfold in real time. And here is what makes white folks uncomfortable. The judgment is not coming someday in the distant future. The judgment already started. You are watching the 400-year judgment unfold in real time. And here is what makes white folks uncomfortable. The judgment is not coming someday in the distant future. The judgment already started. The clock hit 0 in 2019, but wait. How do we know America is Babylon? I mean, people have debated for centuries about who Mystery Babylon really is, and not a real place. Well, let me show you why that debate is over. Turn in your Bible to Revelation chapter 18. This chapter describes a nation, a superpower, called Mystery Babylon. And the description is so specific, so detailed, that when you line it up with America, it is like reading tomorrow's newspaper. Every single characteristic matches. Not most of them, not some of them, all of them. Let me walk you through this. Revelation 18 verse 3 says, "For all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her, and the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries." Who is the nation that the whole world looks to for culture, for trends, for entertainment? For the kings of the earth committed adultery with her, for trends, for entertainment, for wealth. America. Hollywood exports movies to every nation on earth. American music, American fashion, American brands dominate globally. The merchants of the earth, multinational corporations, billionaires, they got rich off American consumerism. The global economy runs on the US dollar. When America sneezes, the whole world catches a cold. That is Babylon. Verse 7 says, "In her heart she boasts, I sit as queen. I am not a widow. I will never mourn." Does that sound like any nation you know? American exceptionalism. The belief that America is untouchable, that it could never fall, that it is the greatest nation in history and always will be. That arrogance, that boasting, that is exactly what the verse describes. It cannot happen here. That is the American mindset. That is Babylon's mindset. Now, here is where it gets uncomfortable. Verse 13 lists the things Babylon trades in: gold, silver, precious stones, pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, scarlet, every kind of expensive wood, ivory, bronze, iron, marble. And then it says, "And cargoes of cinnamon, spice, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, olive oil, fine flour, wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, carriages, and bodies and souls of men." Read that last part again. Bodies and souls of men.
What trade tries to kill people and call themselves saving people? The church.
"And cargoes of cinnamon, spice, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, olive oil, fine flour, wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, carriages, and bodies and souls of men. And bodies and souls of men. And bodies and souls of men." Read that last part again. Bodies and souls of men.
The church. Religion. Fake religion. The church. The Jesus. The joint European slave unionship.
And bodies and souls of men. Read that last part again. Bodies and souls of men. What nation built its wealth on the slave trade? What nation transported millions of human beings across the ocean, bought and sold them like livestock, worked them to death, and called it progress?
And then have them go to a building and praise the ship that they brought the Negroes on. They praise the Jesus, the ship that they came over here on, they think is their savior. They have been tricked again. Will they make it this time? They are very ignorant. My people are ignorant. They perish because of lack of knowledge, and they will not listen to anyone who tells them the truth.
Now, here is where it gets uncomfortable. Verse 13 lists the things Babylon trades in: gold, silver, precious stones, pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, scarlet, every kind of expensive wood, ivory, bronze, iron, marble. And then it says, "And cargoes of cinnamon, spice, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, olive oil, fine flour, wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, carriages, and bodies and souls of men. And bodies and souls of men. And bodies and souls of men." Read that last part again. Bodies and souls of men. What nation transported millions of human beings across the ocean, bought and sold them like livestock, worked them to death, and called it progress? And bodies and souls of men. Read that last part again. Bodies and souls of men. What nation built its wealth on the slave trade? What nation transported millions of human beings across the ocean, bought and sold them like livestock, worked them to death, and called it progress? America. The transatlantic slave trade. That is trafficking in the bodies and souls of men. But it did not stop with chattel slavery. America has the largest prison population in the world. Mass incarceration. The 13th Amendment, which supposedly ended slavery, has an exception clause. Slavery is legal as punishment for crime. So they criminalized being black, locked up millions, and put them to work for pennies an hour. That is modern slavery. That is still trading in bodies and souls of men.
And we do it all in the name of the Joint European Slave Unionship. We do it all in the name of Jesus. Yes, we do it all in the name of Jesus.
America has the largest prison population in the world. Mass incarceration. The 13th Amendment, which supposedly ended slavery, has an exception clause. Slavery is legal as punishment for crime. So they criminalized being black, locked up millions, and put them to work for pennies an hour. That is modern slavery. That is still trading in bodies and souls of men. Prison labor, human trafficking, the foster care system that pipelines children into exploitation. America checks every box. Verse 23 says, "Your merchants were the world's great men. By your magic spell, all the nations were led astray." Who are the world's great men? American billionaires, tech giants, Wall Street executives, pharmaceutical CEOs, Hollywood moguls. These are the people who shape global policy, who influence elections, who control narratives. And by your magic spell, all nations were led astray. America has led the world astray with lies about freedom while oppressing people at home and abroad. America has exported violence disguised as democracy. America has exported violence disguised as democracy. America has pushed drugs, both illegal and prescription, across the world. That is the magic spell. By your magic spell, all the nations were led astray. Who are the world's great men? American billionaires, tech giants, Wall Street executives, pharmaceutical CEOs, Hollywood moguls. These are the people who shape global policy. Slavery is legal as punishment for crime. So they criminalized being black, locked up millions, and put them to work for pennies an hour. That is modern slavery. That is still trading in bodies and souls of men. Prison labor, human trafficking, the foster care system that pipelines children into exploitation. America checks every box. Verse 23 says, "Your merchants were the world's great men. By your magic spell, all the nations were led astray." Who are the world's great men? American billionaires, tech giants, Wall Street executives, pharmaceutical CEOs, Hollywood moguls. These are the people who shape global policy, who influence elections, who control narratives. And by your magic spell, all nations were led astray. All nations were led astray. America has led the world astray with lies about freedom while oppressing people at home and abroad. America has exported violence disguised as democracy. America has pushed drugs, both illegal and prescription, across the world. That is the magic spell. That is Babylon. And then verse 24, the verse that seals it. "In her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all who have been slaughtered on the earth." Think about that. All who have been slaughtered on the earth. Not just some. All. What nation has military bases in over 70 countries? What nation has been involved in wars and coups and regime changes on every continent? What nation killed millions of Native Americans, calling it manifest destiny? What nation enslaved and killed millions of Africans? What nation dropped atomic bombs on civilians? What nation has the blood of prophets and saints and innocent people from every corner of the globe on its hands? America. America. Mystery. Babylon.
Get on board, little children. Are you ready to go home? Are you ready to go home, little children? Little children, are you ready to go home?
That most churches conveniently skip over. The documented historical cycles of black spiritual revival in America that keep repeating. The documented historical cycles of black spiritual revival in America that keep repeating. What Scripture says happens next.
Playtime is over, brothers and sisters. It's time to prepare for spiritual battle. And it's time to get on board. Let's get back to Eden and live on top of the world, baby.
God's gonna work it
of the world. Live on top of the world.
You're listening to Gnostic Five Senses Knowledge. Kings and Queens, Entertainment, Education. All right, baby, let's stay with God. Even though our way may seem hard,